Hello, and welcome to Psychic Truth, Love Weekly. I am Joy Bird, your reader 8755, and we absolutely love you. Love is the highest vibe, and so we're going to do a love spread and see what is in the air love-wise this week. Oh my gosh, there's a lot. The cards are jumping out already. My goodness. There, you know what? The deck doesn't even want to stay in my hands. Just they want to fly everywhere. We're going to get you guys. Yes, I talked to my deck, guys. Seriously, I put a lot of energy into these cards. They are my, oh, wow. Okay, so there's a lot. This is still a lot of energy from last week is still coming on in through this week. A lot of re-meetings, a lot of exes coming back in, a lot of repeating patterns within current unions and relationships. But a lot of us are having a hard time with the loss of what we had, the comfortability, that comfort zone. You know, we get stuck in an area, and, you know, when we lose that significant other, when we lose what we feel is our counterpart, we feel like we lost a part of ourselves. What we need to realize is that we are a full, complete, functioning unit on our own. And until we realize that and treat ourselves as such, what much do we have to offer someone else? It's about the self-care. It's about the self-worth and the self-confidence, knowing what you deserve, because then you're vibing on a certain frequency, and what like attracts like. So you're going to draw in and attract in people, places, and situations that better suit the frequency that you're vibing at, the things that you want for yourself in life. You know, we get stuck in these situations and we're afraid of the loss. We're afraid of the pain. We're afraid of that loss. We're afraid of that pain. We're afraid of being broken down. We're afraid of being on our own because we don't feel complete. We don't yet realize that we are a complete functioning unit. And it is much better to want someone to join you, someone to join in and, you know, complement each other than to need. You want to make sure you're not in a place of needing, that you are straight. You've got your mind right. You're taking care of yourself in all aspects, all across the board, as far as your physical self goes, your mental, you know, your emotional goes. So a lot of times we get stuck in those situations and we're afraid to take what we feel is a risk. We feel it's a risk to release the toxic connections that we have. So we keep ourselves back from all the universe that has to offer us. All that the universe has to offer us, or God, or Buddha, or Allah, Jesus, whatever resonates for you, your higher source, your higher power. There's so much newness coming in. And when we're stuck in that bubble, that comfort zone, that box, we're boxed in. But if we don't take a risk, look at everything that we miss out on. Look how much fun those trapeze artists are having. Like the little cherubs are sprinkling stars on them because they took a risk. Because they stepped out of their comfort zone. They're able to experience so much more that it was there for them. There's so much love in this card, and there's so much happiness when we take a risk, when we release the old, the outdated, the things that aren't serving us. We're going to keep having the same experiences that make us unhappy when we stay in the same space. You cannot expect something new when you keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. So it's best to release. And we know it. We know that, you know, we're not going to be happy. We know that we're stuck in a repeating pattern. We know that there's misery afoot, misery amok, that both parties are miserable, because it's like that inner knowing, that inner light, it guides us. We know the right thing we need to do, but it's a lot of fear there. It's that risk. It's the fear of being alone. It's the fear of no one else loving us. But if this is love that makes us unhappy, do we really want it? You have got to learn to validate. We have got to learn to validate ourselves from within. We don't want to be stuck in a place where we are just going through the motions, where there's no up leveling. We're stale. We're stagnant. We deserve a lot better. So, you know, self-reflection, life review, looking at the cycles, realizing, recognizing that you're going through the same things over and over and over again with no advancement. We don't want to stay. We want a partner that is as ambitious as we are. We want a counterpart that we're able to build with on a solid, sturdy foundation. There's also, again, let's go back to the exes coming back in. There is, she's wanting me to talk about the connections that we hold with our exes, you know, and I'm talking about physical intimacy. I'm talking about the feelings or desire to be held, to be loved, to feel connected with someone. So there is, you know, a huge libido card going on here, huge libido energy. And we have got to learn to discern from the physical need and the actual, what we're doing, the physical need. When we share that energy, the intimacy that we're sharing, a lot of times we don't, well, not a lot of times, all the time. I as well wasn't really aware of the energy exchange when we share our bodies physically. And it is a normal, beautiful thing to share yourself and to make that type of connection. But let's be sure that we're sharing our energy for the right reasons, that we're sharing the proper energy, because we don't want to be left feeling anything less than. We don't want to feel less than, or that we got less of a exchange than we desired because we didn't have our expectations out on the table. We had too many expectations, or someone had too few. You've got to have that exchange of words. You've got to have that clear communication within any exchange. And it's really important because it keeps the confusion down. It keeps the confusion down. So let's pull from our tarot deck. We already got a bunch of cards cut out here, but I am a nosy girl, especially when it comes to love. Let's see what else is going on here. But most importantly, she's still rattling on about that self-care, self-love, realizing that you are enough on your own. When you realize that you are enough on your own, when you are bad, when you are sure of yourself, when you are just, walking with your head held high. And I don't mean in a snobby or snooty way. I mean, self-confidence is everything. Your sprinkles speak loads. And by your sprinkles, I mean that energy you put off before you open your mouth, when you walk in the room, the energy you carry that other people feel, your sprinkles. Okay. Many of us need to unload the baggage that we're carrying. It's really heavy on our backs. We're holding on to the exes, the past transgressions that happened, the disappointments. We are carrying that luggage, and in that baggage, in that suitcase, it's clothing we cannot fit. It doesn't fit us. It's outdated. The sizes aren't correct. The material isn't right. Everything is wrong about it. So we're carrying around 20 extra pounds of clothing that we'll never be able to use. It is useless. It's senseless. So that's what it's like, holding on to those pains, and turning our backs and then pretending like they didn't happen. You can't walk away from what happened. You've got to deal with it. You've got to face it head on, or it's just like you might as well tie a string to it because you're dragging it along with you. It's impeding your advancement. It's in the way of your happiness, of your happy place. There's a lot of positivity coming in, but if you hold on to what you left, remember you left it for a reason, everyone doesn't change. Everyone doesn't come back fully changed. This is like the same message I got a few weeks ago, I believe. It just feels really familiar. Everyone doesn't come back a new person. Some people are stubborn and stuck. They want to be right. A lot of narcissistic energy flowing through right now. So you've got to be aware of what you went through before, why you walked away, why you cut the connection, and you want to just keep those boundaries. You want to keep those boundaries in place for yourself. A lot of times it's what we accept for ourselves. It's not even what others do to us so much. We've got to look at the role we play in every situation. Like, what did we allow? What choices did we make? We've got to make different choices. Again, we can't expect something new to happen in our life, in our love life, in our intimate connections, if we're doing the same thing over and over again. You're going to get the same response, the same outcome over and over again. So let's look forward to new. Let's not look back. It's not always okay to go back into a connection that we broke. Remember why you broke the connection. It's not always a good idea to go back to a safe place because you feel like you need an intimate connection. You want to be mindful of the energy that you're sharing. You want to be grounded. You want to shield your energy, and you want to protect it because it is precious. When you interact and exchange even intimate energy with someone else, you are carrying part of their energy away with you, and you're leaving part of yours with them. So let's treat ourselves better. Let's love on ourselves. It is a new year. It doesn't have to be new us, but we can make it a better us. Small changes every day, guys. Let's watch that energy exchange. Let's watch our boundaries, what we're willing to accept, what we're willing to tolerate, and let's make it better than it was last year. I love you guys. Make sure you come and visit us on over at thepsychictruth.com. I am reader 8755 Joy, and love is the highest vibe.